There's undoubtedly work to be done to improve standards in Parliament. And the Prime Minister, who said he would do something about this, could really look at those recommendations which have been available for some time. And the first thing he could do is his advisor on ministerial standards could be given freedom to carry out his own investigations without first seeking the permission of the Prime Minister. It is depressing that a member of Parliament who must have known what the rules were was so easily caught by the Times reporter about his willingness to lobby ministers and ask questions and do all sorts of things in return for a substantial payment.
I mean, it's dismal, isn't it? And it really, I think, impacts on voters who already feel, disenfranchised by politicians and think that, all of them have dark secrets. Something like this really just kind of confirms that for people. If the rules are working, or if there are what seem to be pretty tough rules, why has Scott Benton done this? How has he managed to do it?
I just don't know. We have to remember his constituency is subject to boundary reviews. And I think he's labelled himself in the Conservative Party as a displaced MP. In other words, he's looking for another constituency, or he may decide to stand down at the next general election, and was therefore very anxious to find alternative forms of employment. But the rules have been very clear for some time, so there's no reason. And my previous committee, the Committee on Standards in Public Life, has done a lot of work about to improve the standards regime in the House of Commons, and this other major issue of whether MPs should be allowed to have second jobs during the period they're members of Parliament.
And what's your thought on that?
My thought is that they're there to represent their constituents. And if they're going to have a second job, the Committee on Standards has suggested when they stood for election, they would have to declare whether they were going to have other jobs. I mean, we had the situation, I think it was a Conservative MP, Geoffrey Cox, who in fact earned over £1 million as a barrister working for the British Virgin Islands government. So the electorate are being shortchanged by these arrangements, and there should be radical reform.
Are there grey areas, Alistair? I mean, in so many second jobs an MP might have, they'll get paid a premium for being an MP. The temptation is there to monetize being an MP, I dare say. But, are there? Could Scott Benton possibly have not understood the rules?
No, there can be no question of that. There's been a lot of publicity about the second jobs issue, about that it's not, you're not allowed to receive payment for lobbying or asking questions. That's been very clear for some time now. So it's impossible that he could not have understand the rules. In terms of grey areas, I mean, people can receive payments, and many members of Parliament do, for things other than lobbying, advising. And it's suggested, I think the Committee on Standards suggested there should be major changes as far as those rules are concerned. So there's undoubtedly work to be done to improve standards in Parliament. And the Prime Minister, who said he would do something about this, could really look at those recommendations which have been available for some time. And the first thing he could do is his advisor on ministerial standards could be given freedom to carry out his own investigations without first seeking the permission of the Prime Minister.
Can I just ask before I let you go? You were chair, as you mentioned, of the Committee on Standards in Public Life from 2003 to 2007. Do you think things have got better or worse since then?
Well, in some areas they've got worse. I gave up being chairman just before the expenses scandal landed on Gordon Brown's desk. And now we have an independent body that deals with MPs' expenses. It's not perfect, but it's a great improvement. And we have at least introduced some procedures to deal with bullying and sexual harassment. So there have been some improvements, but there's still some long way to go.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining me today. That was Sir Alistair Graham, former chair of the Committee on Standards in Public Life.